to the very first installment of a new feature on the channel called Magicfacts. What I'm going to be doing is taking a little interesting tidbit from the history of magic and telling you about it, basically. Something you might not have known. Basically, we're going to explore a different topic each episode, but they all pertain to the history of magic. So all you magic buffs, get ready because I'm going to show you some really cool stuff from the collection and the library. The goal is to educate and to entertain at the same time. Now, for our first episode, I thought we would take a look at Robert Heller. Robert Heller was a great magician of the 1800s. Okay, he died in 1878. And the reason I decided to start the series with him is because at the time of this recording, you may have been watching the national news and you've heard about this guy who was robbing graves in the Philadelphia area. Well, he had over 100 body parts and skeletons and stuff like that. He actually lives not too far from here. But the reason I'm choosing Robert Heller is because the graveyard that he robbed is where Robert Heller is buried. It's called Mount Moriah. It's in Yeadon, Pennsylvania, which is right on the border of Philadelphia. You know, some of the actual cemetery is in Philadelphia and some is in the town of Yeadon. I used to live near there and go to the Yeadon Theater because they would have great movies. It was like an Art Deco 1920s movie theater type thing. And I always wanted to see Heller's grave, but I couldn't find it because the cemetery, you know, was abandoned for a while. It was hard to find graves of some of the famous people buried there. But Houdini went there and visited Heller's grave, and recently the friends of that graveyard have posted, you know, little maps and things like that. So now it's a lot easier to find his grave. Luckily, he was buried deep down, and the grave robber guy was just breaking into mausoleums and crypts and things like that. He didn't do any digging. It was just stuff that he could get with a crowbar. So, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this first installment of Magicfacts. And on today's episode, Robert Heller. Now, I could go on and on about Heller's creations, his magical performances, all the wonderful things he did, all the people he inspired. But on today's Magicfacts, I think I'll concentrate on one thing, just talk about one little thing, and that is the fact that according to Houdini, he was so tall when he died that the Undertaker had to cut the heels off his boots, and supposedly Houdini added them to his collection. Where they exist now, or if they're still around, I don't know. So Heller hit it really big in the 1850s, 60s, and 70s. And he was so famous that people wrote books about him. His name became synonymous with magic. Other magicians tried to steal his name or change a letter. There was a big controversy between him and Harry Keller, who we'll take a look at later. But one thing's for certain when I look through my collection of original newspaper articles and his ads, and the dozens and dozens of magazines and different articles I have about him, and that is that he was a really wonderful entertainer, a great comedian, a great magician and musician, and he deserves to be remembered in the history of show business.